ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the Southeastern Conference.
And ESPN welcomes you to Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. It's homecoming on the campus of the University of Mississippi. Battle of two undefeated 4-0 teams, both ranked. For the first time when they've gone head-to-head since 1958. Welcome everybody to the SEC on ESPN. And to ESPN College Football presented by Marathon. A lot of anticipation in this sellout crowd for the Wildcats and the Rebels. Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge. I think Bill Connolly this morning on ESPN.com described this matchup very well. The headline on his article was, "We'll find out today who is the most up-and-comingest of these two up-and-coming SEC programs."
Well, the reality is over the last two seasons, they're the two most successful programs in the SEC outside of Alabama and Georgia. And it's a very intriguing matchup because of a very different style of offense and defense and a dramatic difference in the pace of how they like to play. I think we'll find out how much they close that gap between the two big dogs in this game today.
Kentucky won the toss and deferred, so Ole Miss will receive the opening kickoff. Bright sunshine for this kickoff just after 11 a.m. 66 degrees under completely sunny skies, not much wind, and we're ready to go. Chance Poore kicks off for Kentucky, and Dayton Wade will try it from the goal line. And he got stacked up. They'll start from the 23-yard line. Jackson Dart is the new quarterback at Ole Miss, National High School Player of the Year in 2020. Played in 6 games, 3 of them starts at USC last year. Then with a coaching change, he transferred to Ole Miss, arrived in January, won a spirited battle to be the starting quarterback with Luke Altmaier, and has gotten better with each of their 4 games. All of them wins. He hails from the state of Utah, 6'2", 220. Showed his rushing skills in their win against Tulsa last week. Had trouble with a low snap. Now he takes off running and dives forward to the 27-yard line. Pressured by DeAndre Square. Room outside and lots of it. Out to midfield and out of bounds. Braylon Brown. Excuse me, J.J. Henry.
Well, this is the pace that we expect to see from Ole Miss. They like to get lined up quick and go.
After play fake, Dart had to get rid of it, and his pass is too high for J.J. Henry, whose run went 21 yards on the last play.
You mentioned these two teams are dramatically different. Ole Miss wants to play fast. Kentucky, it's old school football. Huddle, motion shifts. They take a long time to snap it.
Tennessee and Indiana so far this year have snapped it more quickly than Ole Miss. Jordan Wright taken down. The ball carrier Zach Evans right at outside linebacker for a stout Kentucky defense, giving up just 10 points per game so far.
And they're really good on third down, especially in long yardage.
And Dart's throw is on target. Will they get to the first down? It doesn't appear so. Malik Heath, the transfer from Mississippi State. They're going to go for it very quickly. Lane Kiffin goes for it on 4th down more often than any coach in the country over the last 2 years. 49 times last year. They're 5 out of 7 on 3rd down this year.
They lined up to go quick to keep the same personnel on the field for Kentucky. Now they're looking to the sideline to get a different play, but there was movement, I think, up front. They kind of out-tricked themselves on that one.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
David Smith is the referee, and now with 4th and 6, Lane Kiffin sends the punt team on.
If you line up without substituting, they have to keep the same defensive personnel on the field. Then they tried to get the right call, and I think it was Michael Trigg, the tight end, who jumped. That's who Lane Kiffin was given an earful to at the end of that play, because now at 4th and 6, they want to kick the football.
Fraser Mazin is the new punter. He's from Australia, and that is a beauty. Bounced inside the 5 and went back to the 5-yard line. So poor field position to start for Will Levis, who has emerged as one of the very best quarterbacks in the country, perhaps the best. A backup behind Sean Clifford for a couple of years at Penn State, transferred to Kentucky for a chance to be the starter, won that job last year, and he's gone 14-3. Todd McShay has him the 3rd-ranked quarterback in next year's draft, behind C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young.
Sean, I'm not so sure he's not the best, because he is really ascending. His best football is still way ahead of him.
They toss it to Chris Rodriguez, his first carry of the year. They've been waiting for him to return, out for the first 4 games of the year for a suspension. The leading returning rusher in the Southeastern Conference. He rushed for 106 and change per game last year, 2,740 for his career. That is 6th in Kentucky history, 2nd in rushing touchdowns. He won't break that record. 48 is the record by Benny Snell.
Well, but right away you see the difference he makes in this Kentucky offense. They have not run the ball well through the first 4 games. They've thrown it great, but the immediate presence of Rodriguez makes a huge difference for this Kentucky team.
They've averaged only 2.4 per rush. Levis bobbled the snap, and he goes down a little bit short of the first down marker. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, during his 4-game suspension, running back Chris Rodriguez watched film every week, preparing as if he was going to play. He was involved in all of their team practices, showing up early, staying late, even coming in on the team's day off. He was working mostly on cardio, running up hills, pushing and pulling sleds. He said that he's never felt more ready physically for a season debut, and he ran up to the huddle. Cavassier Smoke tried to go out there. He pushed him out of the huddle. You can tell he's chomping at the bit to get on the field, guys.
I got to believe he's going to get it here, too.
You'd think so, although it's Levis, who's quite a specimen. Spends a lot of time in the weight room. He's every bit of 6'3", 232. And he got the first down. You mentioned Levis ascending. I saw there are 17 NFL scouts here today representing 12 teams. I saw a well-known scout, been around the NFL for a long time. He said, I think by the time the draft rolls around, Levis is going to be the #1 pick, and I will be absolutely shocked if he's not in the top 3.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I saw most of those guys on the field before the game, watching him throw routes against air, and the effortlessness that the ball comes out is amazing.
Play action pass in this pro-style offense. He launches it deep, has a man open, and it just did not connect with Barrion Brown, the true freshman who's made an immediate impact out of Nashville, Tennessee.
They go play action, good protection at first, and then you see, I mean, this is across the field, over the outside shoulder. He had separation from the defender, just a little bit too far for the freshman Barrion Brown. Different style with Kentucky. You'll see a lot more 2 tight ends, 1 running back, more power sets, NFL type sets.
Well, they average 36.5 seconds to get it off. The play clock's only 40, so they use a lot of the play clock virtually every snap. Pass in the flat caught by the tight end Brendan Bates, a senior out of Moeller in Cincinnati, chopped down by the freshman corner.
Cincinnati, Ohio is a great high school football area. Kentucky's recruited it well. They have 4 guys from Moeller High School on this team and 11 from the Cincinnati area.
Mark Stoops in his 10th season at Kentucky, longest tenured coach in program history and the winningest with 63 wins. He passed Bear Bryant earlier this season. And when you've done that, you've done something. Big 3rd down and 4. Levis will be sacked again. for the 17th time this season. Austin Keys brought the pressure. They've had a big problem with their offensive line so far this year.
Well, the pressures from the linebacker, that's picked up. But then they just get whipped up front. The left guard gets whipped. There's pressure right up the middle. And the sack is recorded. And this is the difference in the Ole Miss defense this year. They're much more aggressive, and they really go for tackles for loss and sacks. And they got to Kentucky on that third down play.
Colin Goodfellow to punt. Three new starters on that Kentucky offensive line. And they have had a tough time, even though they're 4-0. It's a part of the team that needs to improve. Jordan Watkins watched the punt. Bounce out of bounds. 50-yard punt. Jackson Dart in the Rebel offense. Back on the field when we come back to Oxford. The AT&T 5G Skycam is with us today on this gorgeous day in Oxford, Mississippi. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Molly McGrath will be joined shortly by Todd McShay. Two 4-0 teams stepping up in competition today. On first down, it's Zach Evans, part of a terrific running back tandem with Quinshawn Judkins. Tyrell Agin made the tackle, the safety for Kentucky. And they go quickly again. Dart. That's backwards. That could be setting something up later. Jonathan Mingo. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Here comes third down and 3.
Sean, I think they were actually just trying to fake that and throw it downfield, but Kentucky, they're known for keeping everything in front. They were not fooled by that formational set.
A little bit of a low snap. Here's Evans again, who lowers his head and has the first down. Ran into Jaquez Jones, who is familiar to the Rebels. Jaquez Jones played here at Ole Miss for 33 games, then transferred last year to Kentucky. And he is the injured player on the play. Started 19 games for the Rebels. He's been joined on the defense this year by another transfer from Ole Miss, the cornerback, Keidron Smith.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon. Get the most out of your drive. And in part by Taco Bell. Vote for this month's Live Moss student section on the Taco Bell app.
Last meeting between these two teams was a wild one back in Lexington in 2020. They went to overtime. Mark Ruffalo missed an extra point. Ole Miss with a touchdown and the extra point would win it, and that's what happened. Matt Corral to Elijah Moore, then Luke Logan the extra point. And it was Lane Kiffin's first win as head coach at Ole Miss. Now in his third year, doing a terrific job. He's 19-8, 10-3 last year. Took him to the Sugar Bowl where they lost to Baylor. Dart avoided the rush, can't find anybody. Takes off running now. Jackson Dart has a first down. He's out of bounds at the 42. It's a remade offensive line today. Caleb Warren was injured last week, came out of the game. So Eli Acker, who was the right guard, slides over to center. Jeremy James was the right tackle, moves into guard. The left side remains as it's been, Williams and Broker, but Micah Pettis steps in at right tackle. They have two redshirt freshman tackles, which is a bit of a concern. They think they're talented. They protect for Dart. He has his receiver, and they have a first and goal at the 5-yard line. Jordan Watkins, one of the 24 transfers to Ole Miss out of the portal from Louisville.
Well, nothing wrong with this offensive line and the protection on this play. Great pocket, a deep over route, beautiful touch on the ball by Dart. First and goal.
Good for 38 yards. They marked it at the 4-yard line. Zach Evans, touchdown, Rebels.
Well, they're just going to run inside zone. Now remember, Jaquez Jones is out of the game. That's the strength of their team. The inside linebackers, they ran right at the inside of the Kentucky defense. Good blocking up front, 2 plays in a row, and the Rebels with the first touchdown of the ball game.
From Zach Evans, another one of those transfers from TCU. His 5th touchdown of the season in 5 games. Jonathan Cruz added the extra point. And Ole Miss first on the board, trying to win their 13th straight home game, longest home winning streak since the early 60s. And as we said a moment ago, we're delighted to be joined today here in Oxford by Todd McShay. Hi, Todd.
Hey, Sean. You know, when you look online or you go to social media, everyone in the 2023 draft class are talking about who's going to be QB1. It's all about Bryce Young from Alabama and C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. But you talk to people in the league, Will Levis is very much in that conversation. In fact, I've talked to multiple teams that either have him as the number 1 quarterback or the number 2 quarterback in the class. What's most interesting to me, we've talked about all the physical traits that Will Levis has. The first thing that comes up in all of my conversations is the intangibles for Levis. How great he is in the weight room, how wonderful of a leader he is, how he's won everyone over in the building, everyone on campus, how hard he works. I had a scout tell me, I don't care what your grade is when the season's over based off of tape, it's only going to ascend when teams get around him, interview him, and get to know him. He's that special of a guy.
It's hard to see what he's lacking. The physical skills, the leadership, as you said, all the intangibles. Rich Scangarello, the offense coordinator, said, I've enjoyed coaching him as much as anybody I've ever coached. Jonathan Cruz, the touchback, and I know Todd Blackledge, you're very high on this young man.
Well, I really am. I mean, his ability in the pocket. Right on this play last week, he felt pressure. He knows he's got a free hitter. He hangs in there. He knows the middle of the field's open. Because of the pressure, hits him. Watch the little subtle movement again. Just up and out a little bit, allowing his receiver to clear out. He's not panicking to leave the pocket. He just moves subtly. And this was a throw last week I included, even though it's incomplete. Same thing. Moves to his left and then effortlessly flicks it all the way back to the other side of the field over the outside shoulder. It was his favorite throw of the season, too.
Opens up out of the gun. Devontae Smoke ahead for 5. Here's Matt Berry in the studio.
John McDonough, good afternoon. Going to check in on Oklahoma, TCU. Oklahoma coming off the loss to Kansas State. TCU right out of the gate. Max Duggan to Savion Thomas. It is Frogs early, 7-0 first quarter.
Don't sleep on those undefeated Horned Frogs, right?
That's right. You have a little bit of a rooting interest there with your son Owen on the baseball team at TCU. Under center goes Levis with Rodriguez, the lone running back. Again, they use a lot of time, and Rodriguez got spun around by Tavius Robinson, Canadian, transferred in from the University of Guelph in Ontario. You ever play Guelph when you were at Penn State?
No, we never did.
Here's 3rd down and 3. You know, part of the evaluation process that you and Todd McShay were talking about is easier for these pro scouts because of this. They run a pro-style offense. You don't have to guess what it's going to be like when he's in a pro-style offense. They huddle. They run shifts and motions. It really is the Shanahan offense. Mike and Kyle. Quick pass. Great run after the catch. Barryon Brown out of bounds, well into Ole Miss territory to the 37-yard line.
The only way these plays are successful is if the receivers in front will block. It's a quick throw to the speedster Brown, and watch Tavion Robinson out there blocking, Brendan Bates out there blocking, and that's all a speedster like that needs to turn a short throw into a big completion and catch.
Brown had 4 catches last week in their win against Northern Illinois for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Little hesitation. There's the powerful run of Chris Rodriguez. Rich Scangarello told us, I don't think we've broken more than 1 or 2 tackles all season long. Rodriguez will break them.
You know, coming into the game, he had 417 career carries, and only 13 of those had gone for negative yardage. He's a big downhill runner, and he's always going to fall forward for an extra yard or two. He doesn't have the flashiest runs, but boy, is he is effective and powerful.
He got 7. Here's 2nd and 3 from the 30. Ole Miss up 7-0. Rodriguez again. We asked him to describe his style, Todd. He said, I'm a downhill runner, power back, and boy, was that on display on those 2 rushes.
Yeah, and watch now. He sees the blitz coming. I mean, this is an unblocked guy, but watch Rodriguez see it, feel it, and just step right inside of that tackle and turn it forward for several yards. That's good vision.
Darius Tennyson was up from the secondary at the line of scrimmage, who couldn't get Rodriguez down. He's the 2nd leading rusher last year in the SEC, behind Tyler Beatty of Missouri, 12th in the nation. Vassier Smoke comes in for him. Kentucky on the move. Smoke looked like he had a pretty good hold there on the left, didn't get anything out of it. Banged down by Austin Keys.
So Kentucky, it's very interesting because over the last several years, they've been a really good running football team. Really good offensive lines, really good backs. This year, a little slow starting running it, partly because of some of the offensive linemen they're missing, partly because Rodriguez has not been there. They've leaned more on Will Levis throwing it, but that's led to more quarterback sacks as well. The offense now looking for more balance with Rick Scangarello.
He was the quarterback coach last year with the San Francisco 49ers. Screen pass, they had it well set up, and Smoke dropped the ball.
Smoke was trying to smoke somebody first before he caught the ball. He was already, he knew it was set up. He was ready to look downfield and make a big play and maybe find the end zone, and just didn't do first things first. You got to catch it first.
The 3rd down and 9. They are in field goal range with under 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
I would expect pressure from Ole Miss. Chris Partridge, I mean, he knew that the best chance they were going to have today is if they could get to Will Levis, knock him around, make him uncomfortable.
Ton McClain is the running back. Levis throws incomplete, trying to get it to McClain out of the backfield.
Really good job by Troy Brown. The inside linebacker had eyes on the quarterback and closed quickly and knocked that ball away. They brought 1 extra rusher. That left Troy Brown right in the middle of the field, and he just read the quarterback the entire way. He could have gone either side, wherever Will Levis was going with the football.
Well, here's Matt Ruffalo. 6th and final year of eligibility. 39-yard field goal attempt from right between the hash marks. And that kick is no good. He's had some painful misses. Showed you the missed extra point. That was the difference in the lost Ole Miss in 2020 in Lexington. Lane Kiffin celebrates his squad up 7-0. Back in Oxford, Mississippi, the homestanding Ole Miss Rebels leading 7-0. They have the ball back at their own 21 after a missed field goal. Quinshon Judkins, true freshman, he got stopped in his tracks by Jordan Lovett. The hard-hitting safety, just a redshirt freshman.
Good news for Kentucky. Jaquez Jones is back on the field at inside linebacker.
Another low snap. We mentioned Eli Acker, the new center today. Judkins dropped for a loss by DeAndre Square, the leader of that defense. You mentioned the strength being the inside linebacker. He's the other alongside Jones.
2nd or 3rd time he's come on a delayed pressure as soon as that back vacates.
There's 3rd down and 11 with 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Right on target, dart. Weaving through midfield is Malik Heath. Big gainer to the transfer from Mississippi State.
Really a beautiful throw and perfect timing. As soon as he made that separation from the corner, the ball was on him.
Is it too early to say Jackson fired a dart? That's a little too easy. Great play fake. Throwing in a single coverage, and it's almost intercepted. Carrington Valentine, the corner, had coverage on Malik Heath.
Sean, the thing that's so interesting about these two teams, both really good. Kentucky wanting to improve their running game, hoping to do that with Chris Rodriguez. And each week, Ole Miss trying to improve their pass game. They're running the heck out of it. 280 yards a game coming in. And Jackson Dart is getting more and more comfortable in Lane Kiffin's offense as each game goes by.
He had never played in an RPO offense in high school or during his year at USC. He carries for 8. Mentioned he arrived in January. He went through spring ball. He told us yesterday, even at the end of spring, I didn't feel comfortable schematically or really with my new teammates. He brought a bunch of the receivers out to Southern California this summer to work out together. And he said he now feels much more comfortable. Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin both told us major improvement.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 23 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
With each game, and he is
Play
clearly
stopped because a player's helmet on the defense came off. Please reset the play clock to 40 seconds.
clearly the #1 quarterback now.
And I think those go hand in hand, right? I think he's more comfortable, so they've been more comfortable in making him the guy, and that has also made him more relaxed and feeling like he can continue to grow. And he's got a lot of upside, too. We talk about the upside of Will Levis. This young guy has got a lot of upside as well.
This is just his 7th career start. 3 last year for USC after Keaton Slovis got hurt. Right through the middle. Quentin Judkins. Touchdown, Ole Miss. 48 yards for the true freshman. His 6th rushing touchdown. That leads the SEC. Playing in his 5th college game. Jonathan Cruz for the extra point.
Sean, you mentioned the changes to the Ole Miss offensive line. Watch Micah Pettis, the right tackle, cave in here, and then the tight end come over and get the perfect kick-out block, Casey Kelly. And then it was off to the races for Judkins. Beautiful run, perfect execution at the line of scrimmage. This 1-2 punch of Zach Evans and Quinshon Judkins has been outstanding all year, and off to it again. First-year offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr. Good call, Coach.
First year as the offensive coordinator here. He has a lot of weapons to work with, including Judkins. Just can't believe how mature he is right out of high school. And you mentioned it, the tandem with Zach Evans. Judkins averaging 107 yards rushing entering today. Evans 91. There's only one other team in the country that has 2 players averaging 90 yards or more per game, and that is Air Force with Brad Roberts and John Lee Eldridge III. Mentioned it, Ole Miss 4th in the country in rushing, and 2 of the 3 teams ahead of them are Air Force and Army option teams. Minnesota's the other. Reception of Lane Kiffin as they flip it around all over the place through the air. That is not an accurate perception. Here's a nice return. Barryon Brown, a difference maker again. He may go. He's already taken one back, and he got this one inside the 15.
Just what Kentucky needed. Feeling like they're falling behind on the scoreboard to this explosive Ole Miss offense early in the ball game. And a special teams play. They've been excellent on special teams so far. Barryon Brown, who you mentioned, returned a 100-yard kickoff in the open to 3rd quarter in the opener against Miami. Almost got home again, but at least gets Kentucky deep in Ole Miss territory.
That kickoff return for a touchdown against Miami of Ohio was their first at Kentucky since 2009. Derek Locke against Louisville. Marion Brown almost made it 2 in 5 games this season. 85-yard return. Lane Kiffin wondering if he made a fair catch signal, is the information we're getting from the sideline. And apparently he did not. Let's take a look. I don't think so.
No, I don't either. Those hands never got above his waist.
Matt Austin, our referee, agrees. Here's a toss. Tavion Robinson, who was a wide receiver who occasionally plays some running back. He did it at Florida. And he's down to the 10-yard line. Here's Matt Berry.
All right, Sean McDonough, just going to give you some network traffic. How about what Kansas State's doing the week after beating Oklahoma? TCU is all over OU right now on ABC, ESPN2. We're rowing the boat. ACC Network, Louisville, Boston College tied at 7. Oh, by the way, McDonough, the tarp is on the field at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, what a shame. Chris Rodriguez, the running back, on 2nd down from the 10-yard line. Rodriguez into the end zone.
What an answer.
Welcome back, C-Rod. And Kentucky's on the board on a 10-yard run.
They went with an unbalanced line. They had 3 offensive linemen to the right side of the formation, and watch the pull by number 79, kick out block, and then just power straight ahead running by Chris Rodriguez. It's Tayshawn Manning, number 79, with the kick out, the transfer from Auburn. What an answer by the Wildcats.
What a playmaker Brown is at wide receiver and in the kickoff return game. And that extra point, no good. Xavier Harris blocked it. So problems to start the day for Ruffalo. Missed field goal, now a blocked extra point. We're back in Oxford, Mississippi. Still morning here, so it's our weekend wake up, brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. And here's the lineup of action later today on ESPN and ABC. Will be followed by Northwestern and Penn State. Your alma mater, Todd, undefeated. Big one in the ACC between Wake and undefeated Florida State in Tallahassee. And the kickoff by Chance Poore will be a touchback.
You know, Ole Miss has been off to a great start, and one of the things they've done, they are fast starters. I mean, they have been in the first half really dominating their opponents. Plus 88 in the first half. Kentucky not as fast starting, but really good finishers. Ole Miss off to another fast start, already over 100 yards rushing in the football game. Better balance with their pass game.
Ole Miss on offense. Jackson Dart handed it off to Quinshon Judkins, and he got taken down by the former Rebel Jaquez Jones. Gain of 9.
Kentucky plays a 3-man front, and they're just kind of caving in those 3 defensive linemen right now.
Judkins just enough for the first down. There's Brad White. What a terrific job he's done as the defensive coordinator. Since 2019, he was on the staff as a linebacker coach in 2018.
They've done a good job of limiting explosive plays.
That's a concern. Dart just lofts it up for Malik Heath. He runs under it.
Oh my goodness.
And he made the catch in bounds.
This is a brilliant play by Jackson Dart, because he's basically throwing this away, but he throws it in a place where only his guy can make a catch. But it doesn't look like Malik Heath was able to hold on to it. It was still an incredible play by Dart.
The officials conferred and ruled it incomplete after originally signaling complete.
I mean, it's an amazing play first to avoid the sack and the negative yardage play because Kentucky gets good pressure. Now he gets rid of the ball. He's strong enough in his arm to get the ball to the outside of the field and should have been caught. Should have been a completion to Malik Heath.
Wondering why it wasn't a catch on that replay. Judkins got blasted after he got 6. We will admit it's very hard for us to see our monitors here in the booth. We are in the early morning sun here, and it is just pelting our booth. I hope you have sunscreen on today, partner.
No, I don't. I think you need it more than I do.
I think I do. I have a little more acreage up top. On 3rd down and 4, and that pass incomplete off the hands of Jordan Watkins. Slightly behind, but one that could have been caught. There is a flag down on the play. David Smith, the referee, leading the Southeastern Conference crew.
Pass interference on the offense, number 11. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
They're looking over to Mark Stoops. He's going to set up 4th down and 4. Yeah, here we are. If we step back a little bit, we can get in the shade. But for the most part, when the game started, it was even tough to tell who's on the field. But what it's lacking in sun protection, it's also lacking in space. It's also the smallest booth. Good thing Oxford's such a wonderful place otherwise. Here's Fraser Mazin again. Grew up playing Australian rules football in Brisbane. First one got downed inside the 10. They might have waited a little too long. And they're going to mark it at the 1-yard line. They timed it perfectly. Kentrell Bullock down there.
When you take a look at the progressive pylon cam, the ball outside. Boy, they did flirt with it, though.
I'm sure they're taking a close look at this.
If he didn't flip it back before he stepped into the end zone, though, that's the issue here.
Well, let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Sean, here's the rule. The minute the kicking team gains possession of the ball, it's dead. He can't advance it. So the minute he got both hands in firm control, he didn't have to toss it back. He didn't have to keep it out of the end zone. He just had to possess it in the field of play, and it's dead there.
They're going to consult with Ken Switzer in the replay booth. And as they do, we'll step aside. 13.5 to go till halftime. Ole Miss up by 8. This is the SEC on ESPN. From Oxford, Mississippi, Vaught Hemingway Stadium sold out. Some of them a little late arriving, a little extra time on the Grove. One of the great tailgating scenes in all of college football, just a couple of blocks away. Will Levis and the Wildcats backed up to their own 1. Chris Rodriguez, the tailback, already had a big impact in his first action of the year. Levis powers out to the 5-yard line. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Kentucky coaches were really hard on their offensive line until that last touchdown drive. Before the drive, O-line coach Zach Yenser told his guys, Will's getting hurt out there. You need to do a better job of protecting him. And then O-linemen complained about the silent cadence they were using. So Levis came over and said, we're switching from a silent cadence to a verbal cadence, hoping for better communication. And so far, it's working, guys.
Well, they've struggled to block, as we said, 2.4 per rush. There are only 131 teams in FBS football. And they're near the very bottom of college football in sacks allowed as well. Plenty of time for Levis that time. He swung it out wide. And it's a first down for Chauncey Magwood, just his 4th catch of the year for the sophomore from Albany, Georgia.
Well, and going back to those numbers, again, those are rare numbers for Kentucky. They've been a really good running team, really good offensive line football team. but they lost 3 starters from their O-line last year, and they played the first 4 games without Chris Rodriguez. So it's a work in progress, and already they're running the ball much better today than they have so far.
They had 2 offensive linemen from last year drafted in the NFL. Luke Fortner, the center, 3rd round by Jacksonville. Darian Kennard, the All-American tackle by the Kansas City Chiefs. Out wide and in trouble. Rodriguez dumped by Ladarius Tennyson. Transfer from Auburn, where he was primarily a special teams player.
Well, this is a missed block by Jordan Dingle, number 85. That's his man. I mean, he's assigned to block on the edge, and he just whips. And it's a nice play by Tennyson for a loss of yardage play, but a poor effort by Dingle on the block. This Ole Miss defense has gotten a lot of tackles for loss, havoc plays. That's been the change under Chris Partridge over the last couple years.
Levis had time, now running out of it, and he goes ahead to the 11-yard line. Troy Brown hit him. There's Chris Partridge, the new defensive coordinator. And what a bundle of energy he is. We could have talked to him all day yesterday. There's a great story that we'll chronicle as the day goes along.
That's just a 4-man rush. They were playing zone on a 3rd and long. And Levis couldn't go anywhere with the football. Backed up in his own territory. Got to be smart with the football right here. There's a lot of football game left. Don't try to force one.
They bring some pressure. Levis back toward the end zone, gets it off. Tavius Robinson, the hit, incomplete for now, but here comes the flag. They're going to have intentional grounding in the end zone, and that's going to be a safety, I believe.
The intentional grounding, he didn't leave the tackle box, and the ball didn't cross the line of scrimmage.
Number 7 on the offense. A foul occurred in the end zone, results in a safety.
I'm actually surprised that they didn't run the football here. 3rd and long. Ole Miss brought pressure. We talked about the aggressive nature. They get to him. He tries to unload it. Intentional grounding in the end zone. 2 points for Ole Miss, and they'll get the ball.
Will Levis called for intentional grounding in the end zone for a safety, and to add injury to insult, when he got up off the ground, he showed his hand to the officials. That's about the only time you can make that gesture to an official and get away with it. He has a dislocated middle finger, it seems. Molly?
Yeah, you saw his finger was completely bent sideways. Athletic training staff popped it back into place and taped his 2 fingers together. He practiced taking snaps from the center with his fingers taped and seemingly had no issues with that, Sean.
Well, there's 2 good news for him. Number 1, it's not his throwing hand. Number 2, they're in the shotgun more than under center. And so that's a little less pressure on the left hand.
There's the kickoff down to Poor. Poor's kickoff, I should say, down to Dayton Wade, and run back. They're going to start with good field position out near the 37-yard line.
Talked about Jackson Dart and just him growing in this offense each week, each rep. Last year at USC, played in an air raid offense. Graham Harrell was the offensive coordinator. There were no RPOs. There were not the play action game that he has. They didn't play quite the same tempo. A lot on the quarterback's plate in this offense, and he is, again, just getting more and more comfortable with each rep.
Good play fake, going long for Heath, and a little too long. We spoke with Jackson Dart yesterday about his trip here. He said, originally he didn't want to leave USC at all when the coaching change was made. When Lincoln Riley came from Oklahoma, he hoped he would stay and be a quarterback. But once it was obvious to him that Caleb Williams was coming too, with Lincoln Riley, he decided it was time to go somewhere else. And he wanted to come to the SEC for a variety of reasons, to play against the best competition, in his opinion. And to work with Lane Kiffin. Dart taken down there by Jordan Wright. He said he really appreciated that Lane Kiffin has worked with quarterbacks of a lot of different styles and made all of them better, in Jackson's opinion.
Yeah, he's very adaptable to what the skill sets are. Develops quarterbacks in different ways, and he's done a nice job with Jackson Dart.
On third down, he's on target again. Malik Heath down to the 35-yard line. Boy, he's thrown some beautiful balls today.
Nice job of protection. And Malik Heath, 24 transfer portal guys, but you don't see too many guys go from Mississippi State to Ole Miss.
Or the other way around
either.
either.
Or the other way around.
We asked some of the sports information people here at Ole Miss, do you remember anybody else who's done that? One side of the Egg Bowl to the other, and they couldn't. Malik said his mom was worried about the transfer more than anything else. Down the seam. Bad throw by Dart. And it's incomplete. Tyrell Agent had a great chance to pick it off. They had double coverage, but he couldn't hang on in the secondary.
Yeah, this should have been an interception, because that was a poor decision to throw the ball down the middle of the field with that much air under it with a middle safety. Agent had a beat on it, and credit Mingo for just colliding and making sure the ball got knocked out. But that should have been an interception.
On the handoff, straight ahead, Zach Evans. Transfer from TCU, taken down by DeAndre Square. 3 years a captain on the defense for Kentucky.
Talked about Lane Kiffin liking to go for it on fourth down. This part of the field, he's probably already told Charlie Weiss Jr., we're going for it on fourth if it's 4 or less, so you don't have to throw it on this third down play if you don't want to.
Lane very good at letting Charlie know where they need to get to go for it on fourth down. Dart very close to the first down at the 25-yard line of Kentucky.
They caught Kentucky in an inside blitz. Both inside backers were coming in the A gap, and they ran that ball outside. Good decision to keep it by Jackson Dart.
Got a generous spot. They gave him the first down. Evans, the running back now. Another low snap with the new center in there, and it's Evans ahead for a couple.
Yeah, most of the snaps have been low. And one of the reasons, Sean, again, this is an odd front defense. So there's a nose guard right over top of the center, and that makes centers a little more nervous, particularly a guy who has been playing guard up until today.
They're very confident Acker would handle it well. That one's a better snap, about knee-high. Back shoulder throw from Malik Heath. Flag down, he caught the ball. And it's going to be offensive pass interference. Carrington Valentine had the coverage.
It was good coverage. It was a good throw, but I think they got the call right.
Interference on the offense. Number 8, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
I think Heath pushed off and got separation by pushing him off.
We mentioned Heath wanted to come here, but it was his mother who said, are you going to be able to handle the fan abuse when you go from one side of the Egg Bowl to the other? The league finally convinced her this was the right place. It's a big change for him. He was playing that air raid. He said there, most of my routes are 5 yards. Sometimes you're behind the line of scrimmage. Here it's a lot of deep down the field on the passing tree. He thought it would help make him a better receiver. He's been an immediate impact player. Dart deflected it incomplete.
Wow. They
had it down by Jordan Wright.
They had Mingo open behind the linebackers. Probably would have scored. Had that ball not been deflected, Mingo would have scored a touchdown. Just a little more air under that by Jackson Dart, and he's got a touchdown throw.
It's third down and very long. 23 yards to go. Midway through the second quarter, Ole Miss already up 16-6. Probably not a field goal try from here. Sidearm throw, and a juggling catch made by Casey Kelly, the younger brother of the former Ole Miss quarterback Chad Kelly and the nephew of Jim Kelly.
There's a flag down. Yeah, there's going to be holding on the best offensive lineman, Nick Broker.
On the offense, number 64. A penalty is declined. 4th down.
Justin Rogers, defensive tackle, had a great rush. And Broker, who is the best up there and the most veteran, experienced guy, got caught with the hold.
Decision for Lane Kiffin. It's
4th and a mile.
A mile, but he loves to go for it on 4th down. They have an analytics book that a member of the staff keeps nearby. And he said most of the time he goes by it, but sometimes you have to go by your gut and how the game's going.
Well, they're going to try a field goal. I was going to say your punter's been doing a great job of pinning them back, but
twice
now you're going to try Cruz. Yep.
But Cruz has the leg, and Lane has seen it firsthand. He's a transfer from Charlotte. He's twice kicked a 56-yarder in his career. This is 53. Breeze really not a factor. He got plenty of leg on it, and it is good. Lane Kiffin, when he brought Cruz over from the transfer portal, had memories of Jonathan Cruz, and they weren't good ones. We'll tell you more about that when we come back. We flash back to 2018. That's Jonathan Cruz then kicking for Charlotte against Lane Kiffin's FAU squad that needed a win to be bowl eligible from 56 yards with 25 seconds to go. It was good, an upset win for Charlotte, 27-24. That long kick that Jonathan made is much more pleasing to now his head coach Lane Kiffin.
Yes, especially after he made that last one.
Lane told us yesterday, we asked him about that kick in 18. He said, I'm standing here, this guy's not going to make this kick. I'm not even worried about it. All of a sudden, it sails across. Here's Barryon Brown out to the 30, and here's Molly.
Sean, in addition to a left middle finger injury, quarterback Will Levis is dealing with a left ankle or foot injury, stretching and testing the mobility of his ankle and foot, jogging back and forth on the sideline in visible discomfort. He even stumbled in pain once and had athletic training staff tape his ankle and foot before taking the field.
He's a big physical guy. He's a sturdy guy, but as we talked to Rich Scangarello, he talked about wanting him to become a better decision maker on taking care of his body, protecting himself. And part of that, as we talked about, he's got to throw the ball away sometimes. If the defense wins, throw it away and protect your body.
Well, some of these sacks are his fault. And even that grounding in the end zone, he had a lot of time to get rid of it before he wound up in the end zone. Chris Rodriguez, the carrier.
This was the play where he injured the finger, may have injured the ankle at the same time, and got the safety. And really, he just held on to the football too long. That play had no chance. It was 3rd and long. Throw it away, punt the football, and play on.
I think he was trying to tell the officials, I broke my finger, therefore it's okay if I ground it in the end zone. That is not in the rule book. His parents are here. Dad Mike was a tight end at Denison. Mom was an All-American soccer player at Yale, Beth Kelly Levis. Will's from Madison, Connecticut. Tossed it to Rodriguez. He started out at Penn State, as we mentioned. There he's a backup to Sean Clifford. And they used him really as a running quarterback. He said, I was only 1 year behind Clifford. I wanted to start someplace for more than 1 year. I didn't want to wait my turn for 1 year. And he said when he went in the transfer portal, very few teams even reached out to him. I don't think Penn State realized what they had.
I don't think anybody did. There was not much on tape other than him doing Wildcat quarterback stuff.
Comes into this off back-to-back 300-yard passing games. Rodriguez. First down. Here's Matt.
All right, checking you in on Kendre Miller, TCU. Sonny Dykes has those Frogs playing some ball early on. 27-10 Frogs over the Sooners early second quarter.
Wow.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes went over and beat SMU, where he came from a week ago, and now with a nice lead over Oklahoma.
And the honeymoon is about to end for Brent Venables in Norman. Already one surprising loss for them. On the end around, the handoff to Isaiah Cummings. Great call by Rich Scangarello, and a big gainer into Ole Miss territory to the 32.
They were lucky to make this exchange. Watch, they almost didn't get the handoff. It was late. Levis was able to stick it in the belly, and it was a great call, as you mentioned. And Kentucky on the move. They still need to find a chunk play in their passing game. Off of play action, get some of these wideouts involved. We haven't heard Dane Key. We haven't heard Tavion Robinson.
A 23-yard gain. First time Cummings has touched the ball this year. Jaton McClain, they weren't sure he'd play due to injuries, but in there, particularly in pass protection. He got 5. It's time for the Aflac trivia question. Kentucky 7th in the AP poll. When was the last time they were ranked higher? We'll give you the answer after the play. They give you plenty of time to answer. You know, sometimes on TV it's hard with these teams that run up and down the line of scrimmage. Kentucky gives you a lot of time to get things in. Jaton McClain, extra time for folks around America to ponder the answer. Do you know, Mr. Blackledge?
1977, right? That was a great team. I wasn't looking at the screen when I said that because I can't see the screen.
That, but you looked it up yesterday, so it's really the same thing. Yeah, they had some great teams back then under Fran Kersey, 76, 77. Matter of fact, they come in here having won their last 3 games against ranked teams. Iowa in the Citrus Bowl, Florida at Florida, game 2 of this year. Trying to beat another ranked opponent on its home field. Short set by Levis. Short pass and a first down. Tavion Robinson, transfer from Virginia Tech. He said the biggest reason he transferred to Kentucky, Will Levis.
Yep. I'll go somewhere where there's an NFL first-round quarterback. Get me the football. And a nice job of Kentucky and Will Levis not panicking. The difference between these two teams, they're both undefeated. They both have looked really good. Kentucky has a better resume because they have a better win, an SEC win against Florida in the Swamp on the road. They were down in the first half, and they shut Florida out in the second half for the win.
Levis sets up the screen. Rodriguez has blockers. Chris Rodriguez, a difference maker, down to the 5-yard line. First and goal, Kentucky. J.J. Pegues.
When you throw a screen as a quarterback, you invite the rush and wait till the last minute. That's what Levis did. He took a shot from Cedric Johnson, but the timing was perfect, getting the ball to Rodriguez.
Geez, the defensive lineman running downfield to make the big stop might have saved the touchdown. The 15-yard gain. First and goal in the final 2 minutes now of this opening half. They fake to Rodriguez. They flip it to Robinson. Touchdown. What a play, and beautifully executed.
Wow, what a neat play, because everybody's thinking Rodriguez, right? They're faking the run to him, then it's the little underhand flip. Watch, here's Rodriguez. They're faking here, and here's Robinson coming right underneath for the little shovel pass after the fake. Super creative and well executed. And Robinson eludes one unblocked guy and gets to the end zone. Tavius Robinson was unblocked, but not quick enough to stop the speedy wide receiver.
Feels like a big extra point here for Ruffalo. Missed field goal, blocked extra point. Now trouble with the snap. Chance Poore, the punter, taken down. Mark Stoops told us yesterday, outside of a couple snaps,
Our special teams have been great. They haven't been great today other than the kickoff return. Another failed extra point attempt.
Barry, coming up in the Lexus halftime report, TCU right now having their way with Oklahoma. Highlights of that, plus Kansas State still trendy right now. They're playing well. And Michigan in a battle with Iowa. Some good early close games. Speaking of trendy, you know, Dan Mullen's named trendy, coaching vacancies. For us right now, he's coming up at halftime. Dan Mullen, Joey Galloway, Matt Barry coming up.
Dan Mullen told us he wants to stay in TV. We saw him at the seminar, which he dominated in our preseason meetings. Chance pour the kickoff after he had trouble with the hold. Kentucky, another opportunity lost for a point. Here's your opportunity, friends, to help people affected by Hurricane Ian. We encourage you to donate at redcross.org/ESPN. Help the Red Cross prepare for, respond to, and help people recovering from this unimaginable disaster. Your donation helps the Red Cross. Communities affected by this devastating storm. It's hard to look at those pictures. Yeah. Food, shelter, relief supplies, recovery planning, and other assistance. There's Malik Heath. You know, those pictures, Todd, for me, very familiar. Doing Red Sox games on local TV for many years. Used to train in Fort Myers. Yeah. Saw the sign there underwater for City of Palms Park. And it's overwhelming what has happened. Please help if you can. Nice pass by Jackson Dart. Michael Trigg, the tight end, his former USC teammate. Matter of fact, Trigg told Jackson Dart, you decide where you want to go. I'm going with you.
Oh, they're on the move right now. Good combination there. Ole Miss has all three of their timeouts, too, so it can be very aggressive here.
And you know they will be. With Lane Kiffin calling the shots. Here's Malik Heath.
Clock stops to move the change, but Heath should have gotten out of bounds on that play. Save the timeout.
Well, they go so fast.
Well, that's true, too.
You got 13 for the first down. Dart given a nice pocket, back shoulder throw, and his buddy Michael Trigg was not anticipating that.
Critical point in the game right now for this Kentucky defense. 37 seconds left in the half. They won the toss and deferred, so they'll get the ball to start the third quarter. They got to be thinking here about holding to a field goal attempt and not giving up a late touchdown to close out the first half.
And they are in field goal range for Cruz, and it's an interception by the former Ole Miss Rebel. Jaquez Jones, his first game in this stadium as a visitor. And you know how much he loves that. His 5th career interception.
Well, here he is right here, and his eyes are right on the quarterback. It's zone. It's not man. So he's watching the quarterback, he's reading eyes, and he steps right into the throwing lane and gets the pickoff. Looked like he was maybe hobbling off the field with a hamstring at the end of the play.
Wow.
But he made a heck of a play there for that Kentucky defense.
He's been hobbled a couple of times. Mark Stoops told us he thought the two transfers from Ole Miss would be a little hyped up at the beginning of the game, but they're two very important players. The other is Kedron Smith, the cornerback. He told us, I don't even know where the visitors' locker room is. And I played there for 4 years. Let's see how Kentucky plays it with a half minute to go. Levis is looking deep. Checks it down out wide. Jordan Dingle back to the line, and that's all. And Levis hobbling a little bit and playing with the injured finger.
And it takes another pretty solid hit. You know, he holds on that ball as long as he can. He gets hit by Tavius Robinson. Those hits add up. I mean, I don't care how big and strong you are. He's a big dude. You're running out the clock. That was just one extra hit that he ended up having to take.
He's a warrior. What his coaches and teammates love about him, among many other things. Entertaining half, and Kentucky down by 7. We'll get the second half kickoff. And here's Molly.
Coach, a change in momentum at the end of the half. What was your message to Jackson Dart after that interception?
Well, we were in a 2-minute one that he had similar, a couple weeks ago, and so was doing a great job and then forced the ball there. So unfortunately, that's a young quarterback mistake. He played really great up to that point.
How do you slow down running back Chris Rodriguez?
We got to tackle better, keep our head up, and stop diving at his feet.
All right, thank you, Coach. Sean.
Elaine told us yesterday Dart had made one big mistake at least in every game except for last week. He was hoping that would continue. It didn't at the end of this half. 19-12, the Rebels will send you to the studio for the Lexus halftime report.
This halftime report is presented by Lexus. Experience amazing.
Monday Night Football, Rams and Niners. Good one in the NFC West, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, Peyton and Eli coming up for some fun on ESPN2. Coach, give me a key for Kentucky in the second half.
I think they got to be patient with the running game and keep running Christian Rodriguez. They're running the ball better than they have in the first couple weeks of the season.
For now, all Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Back to Oxford. This has been your Lexus halftime report.
If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win? If it's us.
This is the SEC on ESPN. And we welcome you back to ESPN College Football presented by Marathon. Beautiful day in Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss up by a touchdown as we get ready for the second half. Let's take a look at today's road test brought to you by Goodyear.
Well, the return of Chris Rodriguez, great news for Kentucky. And really from the very first time he touched the ball, you could tell the impact he would have. 9 carries in that first half for 45 yards, also caught the football, scored a touchdown, and just his presence, his physicality fits this Kentucky football team and offense and has made a huge difference here in the first half as they're only down 1 score.
They were averaging 2.4 per rush as a team for the year. Part of that was on a bad snap. They lost 39 yards on one play early in the year, but still, they haven't rushed it effectively. Ball blew off the tee. That's a development as the game's gone along. We had very little breeze at the kickoff, and now the flags are straight out into the face of Jonathan Cruz as he's about to kick off. And a very dangerous Baryon Brown back deep as an 85-yard kickoff return today, and they're not going to give him a chance. They pop it up into that wind short. And Kentucky will start near its own 28-yard line. Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge, you said it, Chris Rodriguez a difference maker. A lot of talk too about Will Levis and your impressions of him through the first half.
Well, I think he held on to the ball a little bit too much. He took some shots he didn't need to take. They haven't gotten the ball thrown down the field. They had one 30-yard completion, but that was a quick screen. They're going to have to find a way to get the ball down the field. But as I said during the break, the most impressive thing to me in the first half was the way this Ole Miss defense plays. I've never seen an Ole Miss defense fly around and be this physical and this aggressive. They had a great first half.
On first down, Chris Rodriguez gets 4 with more on C-Rod. Here's T-Mac.
Yeah, you guys were talking about Rodriguez. You just saw in that last run. When you think it's a 2-yard run, he turns it into 4 or 5 with his lower body strength. He has the best contact balance, I think, of any running back in this class. The problem is it's not 2002, it's 2022. And so his draft value isn't great because he doesn't have elite speed, and he's not a big factor in the passing game. But I love the way he runs. I think he's going to be your 3rd, 4th round pick.
He is the lone back behind Levis, who goes under center.
You got to get Dane Key involved in the game here in the second half.
There's Rodriguez showing that power that Todd just talked about. He refuses to be tackled. He turned nothing into 3rd down and 2 upcoming.
You know, Rich Scangarello told us right now our guys are only gaining what the play is blocked for. We're excited to get Chris back because he will get more yards than the play is actually blocked for. Power, ability to break tackles, right there just carrying the pile with him.
Offensive line known as the Big Blue Wall. Last year, one of the best in the country. Finalist for the Joe Moore Award is the best offensive line. Swing pass and down behind the line of scrimmage goes Tavion Robinson. DeAndre Prince, the cornerback, with the big play.
Well, Prince makes a play, but because the ball is thrown high and behind the receiver, it slows the play down. See, it's high and behind. Prince beats his man, Baryon Brown, but the throw, if it's more out in front and more accurate, maybe he avoids that first tackler.
So Colin Goodfellow will punt. Jordan Watkins back deep. He dropped 2 last week and was not back for the last punt of the game against Tulsa. We visited with Lane Kiffin yesterday. He wasn't sure if it would be Watkins or Jonathan Mingo. Goodfellow, wow, up into that breeze. Driving punt, and Watkins a fair catch. Did well to catch that. The punting has been outstanding on both sides today. 53-yard punt. You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Marathon. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. Glorious day. Temperature expected to climb up into the mid-80s under bright sunshine in Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss has won 12 in a row, dating back to last year. Zach Evans, the ball carrier on first down. And Kentucky comes here with an 8-game winning streak. That is the second longest winning streak in the country, dating back to last year. Only Clemson, with 10 in a row, has a longer winning streak right now than Mark Stoops' Wildcats.
Big one for Clemson tonight at home against NC State.
There's the big one, an ABC primetime top 10 battle. Zach Evans again to the 20-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Again, this Kentucky team, one real impressive win on the road at Florida. They shut the Gators out in the second half. They were down 3 at halftime.
Dart throws it up and behind Jordan Watkins. They weren't on the same page. And that is a quick 3 and out for Ole Miss with a 7-point lead early in the 3rd quarter. Fraser Mazin will punt it away. Tavion Robinson back deep. You could see him pointing at the sun. It's a problem for a lot of folks here today. And it takes a bad bounce. The punt into the wind and spun back across the 50-yard line. Well, Kentucky left great field position. Todd Blackledge and Shane Marshall had great position at Taylor Grocery. Taste of the town when we come back.
Pursuit of home run 62. We're going to take you live to Orioles Yankees. Now Aaron Judge, his second at bat as he's in pursuit of home run.
He has 9 home runs this year against the Orioles. And he has 35 home runs in 79 games lifetime against the Orioles. And the 2-0. Strike, 2-1. While Stanton is homered, Higashioka has homered, and they're waiting for this man to get to 62. And 22 seasons of American League Baseball, and no player has ever hit 62 home runs, and just 2 have 61, Judge and Roger Maris. Crowd doesn't want to be bothered with any pickoffs. And he walks.
So Aaron Judge hit by pitch, his first at bat, and a walk in his second. He's still in pursuit of 62. Back to football, Kentucky and Ole Miss.
For those just joining, Ole Miss, a short punt. Kentucky started at the 29, a pass play to Dane Key for 14 on first down. Got him to the 35. Now 2 running plays for very little. This is 3rd down and 8 for Will Levis. Dumped over the middle to Jaton McClain, and they stopped him about a yard short of the first down. So a decision to make for Mark Stoops. I think with the problems in the kicking game today, you go for this.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a big physical quarterback. First of all, I've not seen a quarterback better on quarterback sneaks than Will Levis. And if they open up right over the middle, I wouldn't be surprised to see him keep the football. Remember, if they do go quarterback sneak with under the center, the left finger problem that he had in the first half could affect the snap.
Took a long time to make the decision and get the play in. The play clock's down to 5. Rodriguez lowers his head and drives his legs for the first down.
You got a 225-pound quarterback, you got a 224-pound tailback, and they both run with physicality, and a new set of downs for Kentucky. Got the 3 and out by their defense to start the 3rd quarter. And on the march now.
56 yards on the ground for Rodriguez in his first game of the season.
It is crazy to watch this pace with the huddle and how slow. And we're so used to seeing everybody play fast. It's just so different.
Play fake to Rodriguez. Levis had traffic coming from his right, so tucked it down.
Great decision. Sean, this was an RPO, and he made the decision to throw the football, but then it was busted. And so what he does, watch, they're going to block run to the left. He's going to throw to the right, and then as soon as he sees it's not there, he runs right where the running play would have been. So instead of a negative yardage play, he turns it into a 2-yard gain.
Tavius Robinson, the pressure. K.D. Hill made the tackle. He wears the number 38. That's an honor here at Ole Miss in memory of Chucky Mullins.
3 tight ends in the ball game right now for Kentucky.
Rodriguez. And it goes back to the point we were making about the evaluation of Will Levis. The NFL scout says it's easy to evaluate him. This is an NFL offense that they're running. He said when you have to evaluate these guys who are playing what the scout said 7-on-7 passing attacks, it's hard to project what they're going to be when they get into an NFL style offense like this.
Play action, drop backs, you know, the footwork, the timing. You have to be able to do that at the next level.
Levis over the middle, caught, and lunging for the end zone. Touchdown, Jordan Dingle. Dingle's parents in the stands here. He has a brother Justice on this team as well. They're from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Well, watch McClain step up and take the blitz on. Ole Miss bringing pressure. McClain stayed in there, got the block, clean pocket for Levis, and he finds Dingle on the in route. Good sharp move.
Will Levis's parents, by the way, celebrating. And here we go again. They've missed a field goal. They've had an extra point blocked, and they've had trouble on a snap. They're making sure that he scored a touchdown. Aggressive pylon cam.
Oh yeah, he definitely did.
Ruling on the field was a touchdown.
It should stand based on that look we just saw.
Scangarello told us he thinks Jordan Dingle is like a chess piece to him. He thought that he was going to try to get him more involved, find more ways to get him the football. They have 3 tight ends that they play quite a bit, but he's the move guy. Really nice effort at the end of that play. Progressive pylon cam leaves no doubt on that one.
After further review, the ruling on the field of a touchdown is confirmed.
So hang on to your hat for the extra point. The last time it looked to be on the hold or chance poor.
Yeah, it was a little bit low, the snap. However, it could have been handled. It was not on the ground, just a little low.
For the tie with 6:22 to go. And a mock cheer goes up from those clad in blue. Probably from some of the Ole Miss fans, particularly those fans who celebrate the extra point. There's a sizable chunk of Wildcat fans here. First time they've played in Oxford since 2010. It's time for Todd's Taste of the Town, brought to you by DoorDash.
When I did my first Ole Miss game more than 20 years ago, longtime sports information director Langston Rogers brought me to a place in Taylor, Mississippi called the Taylor Grocery, where I enjoyed the very best fried catfish I've ever had, and I continue to come back. Lynn Hewlett and his family have owned and operated the place for the last 26 years. The catfish is Mississippi raised. It's rolled in a combination of corn and cream meal and fried to perfection. I fully embrace the words of Mark Twain when he said, "The catfish was plenty good enough fish for anyone." Amen.
Yeah, amen. How was it?
Excellent.
Well,
Excellent.
we saw Larry Faircloth with the scoreboard. You want to explain this?
Well, Shane's kind of my food soulmate, and we've gone head-to-head at Taylor Grocery twice. 2 years ago, I beat him 14-11. This year, we both backed off a little bit, but I still beat him 11-10 on the number of catfish fillets. It's all you can eat catfish, and they just kept bringing them for us to eat. And I didn't want to bring you any catfish because I know, you're very concerned about this.
It's healthy.
So I brought you, they have an all-purpose spice. Whatever it is that you'll eat to keep this, you've got that now. You can put it on anything from the Taylor Grocery.
I got some insight into this from sources. Kickoff went out of bounds. You intentionally ordered
sausage and cheese plate
that Shane likes, and he loaded up on the sausage and cheese plate.
He didn't load up.
Right, Shane?
I ate some too, but he can't resist it. I mean, so I did
That's
get
not
it.
fair.
It was a strategic move on my part.
Did they measure and weigh all of the catfish to make sure that you each, his catfish might have been a lot bigger than your catfish? Just saying. I didn't think Taste of the Town was going to need a referee, but I think going forward, that could be the case. On first down for Ole Miss, the lead gone. J.J. Henry brought it out to the 40-yard line. Here's Molly.
Sean, you saw Kentucky linebacker Jaquez Jones get up gingerly after that play. He was kind of limping on the sidelines, jogging back and forth, grimacing in pain. I'm told he's dealing with a left foot injury. He's trying to return right now, but he is not 100%.
Well, and they're already down one of their elite players, J.J. Weaver. Did not play today. Kentucky trying to gut it out with what they have.
You're looking at the Taco Bell Live Más student section today here at Ole Miss. Student sections across the country competing to be the Live Más student section of the year. Always dressed very well in the student section here at Ole Miss. Jackson Dart, good fake. He carries himself for a first down out to the 45-yard line.
Jackson Dart ran for over 100 yards last week against Tulsa. Some on a read keep, some by design. Excellent runner.
Trying to reclaim the lead, threw it into a tight window, and it was not caught by Jonathan Mingos. Had a quiet day. Zion Childress, the backup safety, made the play.
Childress, one of those transfers in the secondary that Mark Stoops brought in. They lost 4 key guys last year. Childress, a transfer from Texas State.
One of 10 transfers they brought in out of the portal this year. Out of the backfield, Judkins has a first down for the Rebels at the 41-yard line.
The Ole Miss, their wide receivers play left and right. Mingo left, Heath right. That allows them to get lined up fast and play fast.
And the pass dropped by Casey Kelly. I thought it was interesting. Charlie Weiss Jr., offensive coordinator, yesterday, talking about having to call the plays so fast. He said a lot of it just depends on where players end up on the field, because he wants them to have to move as quickly and as little as possible to line up for the next play.
And that's primarily the inside guys. You know, the slot receiver, the tight end, as we see the completion to Mingo, because those guys could end up on either side of the field. See where they're at, call play to execute as fast as you can.
Could well be 4 down territory for Ole Miss. 3rd down and 7. They don't need 4th down. Judkins rips through the middle for a first down to the 27 after the first catch of the day for Jonathan Mingo, who's usually much more involved.
Beautiful double team on the inside between the center and the right guard.
They try that real estate again, and Judkins gets through. Coach Stoops, Coach Weiss and Coach Kiffin talk about Judkins' vision. I think you saw it on that play.
Yeah, he's an impressive young back. Runs with great maturity.
Evans a bit more speed, but Judkins gets you a lot of these types of carries, and he's shown he can break away and score as well.
You know, part of that vision that he has, and part of what makes him special, they talk about short area quickness, his ability to make people miss right at the line of scrimmage, put a foot in the ground, change directions quickly. For a big physical runner, he's got that too.
Averaging 9.7 per carry today. 9 rushes for 87 yards. After the fake, dart to the near sideline. And down at the 11-yard line goes Evans out of the backfield.
Really
tackle.
Yeah, really well defended. Jordan Wright got the tackle, but Kentucky, they had everybody covered in the end zone. Jackson Dart was looking to throw the end zone. That was his outlet. Kentucky defended it well.
Evans again. Jordan Wright leading the way. He's had a big game. Super senior graduate student out of Fort Lauderdale. And there's how quickly Charlie Weiss has to get the next play in. He is the son of the former Notre Dame and Kansas head coach.
Looks like he got Mingo in single coverage up top.
Coach Weiss Jr. just 29 years old. Dart tripped up by DeAndre Square. And Lane likes to go for it on 4th down, but in a tie game late in the 3rd quarter, you kick the field goal.
Yeah, you've had a good drive. You know this is going to be a game that goes into the 4th quarter. Take the lead, take the points. You haven't had the kicking issues that Mark Stoops has had to worry about on the other side. Take the points with Cruz.
A 26-yard try from dead center. Cruz graduated from Charlotte with a degree in psychology, which seems like a good thing for a kicker. And Ole Miss goes back on top, leading 22-19 with 2:19 to go in the 3rd quarter, and we send it back to Matt Berry.
What's in the box? Thanks for asking. Plenty. Purdue and Minnesota tied on ESPN2. They're at break on ABC with TCU and Oklahoma. Keep an eye on that one. Another tie game on ESPN Plus, Kansas State and Texas Tech. And maybe the close one perhaps a lot of people didn't expect. 23-21 Boston College and Louisville. That on ACC Network. So much to watch. Sean McDonough, another college football Saturday.
Well, we have a great one here in Oxford. Todd Blackledge back with the Hall of Famer, Sean McDonough. Last Thursday, September 22nd, my partner, Sean McDonough, inducted in the Massachusetts Broadcaster Hall of Fame. Quite a career. In 1992 on CBS, he was the youngest broadcaster to ever call a World Series. 93 called Joe Carter's walk-off home run when the Blue Jays won the World Series. A mainstay here at ESPN for over 20 years, currently the lead NHL play-by-play man, just called the Stanley Cup, and been a pleasure to be your partner for the last several years here calling college football.
Well, right back
You're the
at you,
best.
friend. This is a blessing to be able to do this for a living. Appreciate the people at the Massachusetts Broadcasters Hall of Fame. A lot of people in that Hall of Fame I grew up idolizing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Short kickoff into the wind. Here comes Barryon Brown again.
This guy's special now.
He sure is. Oh, he tripped up
by his own man.
At the 43-yard line. It looked like he was going to run away as he came toward the near side of the field. It looked like he got tangled up with Lavelle Wright.
My goodness. He's got a different gear.
Yeah, they're going to stop kicking the ball to him.
Well, they did a little bit ago, and then when they decided to go back to him with the 3-point lead, he made them pay for it. Good job finding his blocks, vision, and then right here, he's gone. I mean, he's going to turn it on to a different gear and trips over his own man, or else Kentucky would have been right back in front.
Still great field position and movement before the snap.
False start on the offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Jeremy Flax, the right tackle, one of the 3 new starters on the offensive line this year.
Been a pretty clean game so far. That's just a second penalty for Kentucky, 2 penalties for Ole Miss.
Well, they're 2 good football teams,
yep.
2 well-coached football teams, each ascending. Kentucky ranked in the top 10 for the 3rd week in a row. First time they've done that since 1977. Rodriguez back to the 41-yard line. It's not just 4-0 this year. Ole Miss has won 18 of its last 22 games, and Kentucky 16 of its last 19.
No, they've had some sustained success here. And again, they do it very different ways. Kentucky is more of a ground and pound, even though they have an NFL caliber quarterback. Mark Stoops, a defensive guy. Lane Kiffin, an offensive guy, but with similar results.
Second down and 12. Rodriguez tackled from behind after a short gain.
Again, the Ole Miss defense has been impressive today. They've got the lead, a 3-point lead, and we know about Ole Miss's offense, but this is as fine of a performance so far that I've seen an Ole Miss defense put up. Chris Partridge, the defensive coordinator, big Jersey guy, man. Loved talking to him yesterday. Gets you excited.
Jaton McClain, the running back, we're told Cavassier Smoke is sick and not available. High throw. It caught the receiver by surprise. There are flags down, however. Along the near sideline, 2 officials threw a flag. Barryon Brown, the intended receiver.
Yeah, I think Igbignosin, the true freshman, talented cornerback, grabbed the jersey. As the receiver was breaking to the inside, I think the young freshman had a hold of the back of the jersey.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense, number 84. Also holding on the defense. Those penalties offset. Replay, 3rd down.
Here's the route right here. This is the freshman, and as he breaks in, you're just going to see a little bit of a grab on the jersey. He's okay there. As soon as he breaks in, little grab before the break, but an offsetting penalty and another 3rd down situation for Will Levis.
So they'll do it again. And Austin said the tight end was covered up, therefore ineligibly downfield. In the flat, the ball's knocked out. Was it a catch? It's Tavion Robinson. It looks like they're going to give him the catch and then a fumble out of bounds as it was punched out by A.J. Finley. Might be enough of a gain to try a field goal.
Yeah, caught, secured, turning up field, making a football move when the ball was punched out.
Well, they are in field goal range, but with the kicking difficulties, they're not going to try. It'll be a 49-yarder. Ruffalo's long is 50. And he has a stiff wind at his back right now. But they're going to go for it on 4th down and 3 in the final seconds of the 3rd quarter.
There's some confusion on the Kentucky sideline, though, trying to get Will Levis's attention, making a change here.
The play clock wasn't moving because the game clock was running and was under 40 seconds.
Yeah, that's good. They didn't want him to run a play, say, let's come over and talk about it at the end of the quarter and make sure we have exactly what we want for 4th down.
And if you're rethinking maybe trying the field goal, now you almost certainly would going back into the wind. 22-19, a good one in the SEC. Well, while we were away, the referee David Smith summoned to the monitor in the headset by the replay booth. They're taking a longer look at that catch and then fumble out of bounds. Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, what did you see?
Well, this play is extremely close. The receiver definitely has firm control. He gets a body part down. Now, does he have the ball long enough, have enough time to make a football act or move? I agree with Todd. He is turning upfield. We talk about second acts. The defender coming in, swiping the ball away can be a second act.
Here's the decision.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. It will be 4th down.
Well, it would have been 4th down either way. The difference is it's 4th down and manageable enough for Mark Stoops to decide to go for it here.
Yeah, they gained 6 yards on that play. So they're going to go for it on 4th down and 3 with kicking an issue today. Down by 3, first play of the 4th quarter. They're going to throw it. Levis under duress. It's incomplete. Intended for Rodriguez. Right at the line to gain, and Otis Reese was right there, the man who had to sit out the first half of today's game because of a targeting last week.
And what an athletic play by Reese, because Reese is right here. He's going to literally jump over Rodriguez. If he runs into the back of him, it's going to be pass interference. He leaps over him and knocks the ball away. Will Levis was having to dump it down to the back. There was nobody open downfield, and Otis Reese made a heck of an athletic play.
Mark Stoops after the officials. Saw Chris Partridge applauding the defense. Levis had completed 10 straight passes before that one. Ole Miss takes over on downs with Quinshon Judkins, the running back.
The only time that Ole Miss doesn't go fast on offense is the first play of a possession like this. Once they make their first play, another bad snap.
And Dart down to a knee. And he got hit by Jordan Wright, and the crowd didn't like that. There have been some low snaps today from Eli Acker. If you're just joining us, they're without their starting center, Caleb Warren.
Again, Eli Acker playing center. He's played there before, but Kentucky playing an odd front. When they have a guy right off the edge of the center's nose, he's trying to think about his block first instead of taking care of the business of snapping the ball. See, look at that. Right over the center's nose is a man. Just makes it difficult.
They lost 5. Dart's pass batted out of midair. De'Eric Jackson dropping into coverage, almost had an interception.
De'Eric Jackson is in for the injured Jaquez Jones, playing the same kind of way. They talked about having depth at that inside linebacker position, and De'Eric Jackson getting a lot of reps now.
Eli Acker's out of the game. Caleb Warren is back at center. He wanted a dress today, went through the warm-up. They said they'd use him if they needed him, and they need him. He snaps it right to Dart. Dart's on target, first down. Michael Trigg, the tight end, to the 45-yard line.
Nice read by Jackson Dart. It was zone defense, 4-man rush. He and Trigg were on the same page.
Or an 18-yard gain on 3rd and long. Back to the run with Quinshon Judkins.
You know, outside of that interception right at the end of the first half, I think Jackson Dart has taken another step forward in his progression in this offense. Looks comfortable, looks smooth, throwing and running.
Under pressure, lofts it up again, and Malik Heath runs under it again, with the linebacker De'Aaron Jackson trying to cover.
Almost identical to the play we saw in the first half. Pressure, avoid the sack, loft it to the edge of the field where only your guy can make the play, and Heath catches it this time.
Judkins on 1st and 10 after the 19-yard pass play, tackled by the true freshman, the mammoth Deion Walker.
Well, those are two good freshmen. That's a freshman on freshman. And this guy, when he is not winded, he is so big at 6'6", 330, and he looks even bigger wearing number 0 on his jersey, right?
He's talented,
wow.
And he can move for a big man. The coaches are just worried about the tempo, him having to stay on the field for down after down. Dart on 2nd and 10. Fires to the sideline, caught. 1st down, just shy of the 20. Jordan Watkins.
Just as you mentioned, Deion Walker in for a couple plays. Had to take himself out there, not able to get much pass rush. That was great protection for Jackson Dart to work the whole field.
Judkins bounced off an official and got taken down inside the 5-yard line by the former Ole Miss Rebel, Kedron Smith.
Well, again, a little deception. They faked the end sweep. I'll tell you what, Micah Pettis, the right tackle, is having a heck of a game.
On 1st down, Judkins. This is huge right here. Ole Miss could take a 2-score lead with a touchdown. Under 12 minutes to go. Kentucky desperately trying to force a field goal try. And Judkins over 100 now for the 3rd time in 5 college games. At 140 last week against Tulsa. And he's dropped for another loss by DeAndre Square.
DeAndre Square just got skinny on that play. He turned sideways coming through the hole. Watch right here. Actually, I think it was 54 who came in there. De'Aaron Jackson got skinny behind the line of scrimmage. Timed his blitz perfectly.
Jackson's a guy last year tore his Achilles in the spring. They thought he'd miss the whole year. He was back to practice by October and played in November. You can see he's a little winded. Ole Miss has slowed down the pace a little bit. Out it goes to Trigg, and he's out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Lane Kiffin doesn't like to kick field goals, and he's going to go by whatever the analytics tells him. It looks like they're going for a touchdown instead of a 6-point lead. It's a chip shot field goal.
When the game was tied earlier, they went for the points to take the lead. Now with the lead, opting the more riskier and aggressive call, going for the touchdown here.
And Ole Miss substituted, so Mark Stoops has a chance to get his subs in. They get big Deion Walker off again.
Remember, Jackson Dart, a very good runner too.
4th and goal from the 4. Huge play. Dart kept it. Dart threw it up for grabs. It's knocked down and incomplete. Jordan Lovett batted it out of the air. And the Kentucky defense holds and takes over on downs.
But DeAndre Square is the guy who made the play first. Watch him as he rushes. He forces Jackson Dart to stop. He couldn't get outside. He had to come back inside and just kind of throw it up there. Lovett got the deflection, but DeAndre Square made the play for the Kentucky defense.
If you're not sure who...
Sean, thank you. We are going to dip into Orioles at Yankees now. Aaron Judge at bat in pursuit of his 62nd home run.
Swing and a miss. 0-1.
A good breaking ball, but looks like Aaron Judge was kind of in pull mode on the first pitch.
The 0-1 outside, 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2. High slider. And the 1-2. 2-2. All right, now the story writes itself. It's 2:43 on the clock, the same time that Roger Maris hit number 61 on this date across the street at the old Yankee Stadium, and Maris's family is here. Judge at the plate, his family watching. A 2-2 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Outside, 3-2. And the payoff, swing and a miss. Judge down on strikes. No runs, a hit, no errors.
History must wait. Sean McDonough back to the amazing finish between Kentucky Ole Miss.
Prince on the true freshman Brown. While we were away, Kentucky got a run from Jatron McClain of 17 yards to get from their 5 out to the 22. Nothing doing on the 2 plays since. Here's 3rd and 10.
They got to call timeout. Play clock was all the way down that time. You don't want to make a mistake here on 3rd and 10.
Timeout.
There's our SEC Spotlight brought to you by T-Mobile. Todd mentioned it at the top of the telecast. Kentucky and Ole Miss with 14 wins since the start of last season, tied for 3rd most in the conference behind only the powerhouses Georgia and Alabama. Here's 3rd down and 10 for Kentucky, down by 3. At one point they trailed 19-6. Will Levis. And it's off the hands of his receiver and incomplete. Catchable ball for Dane Key. There are flags down. Key was calling for the flag, and it looks like he's going to get it. DeAndre Prince in coverage.
Holding on the defense, number 1. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That's Hasheem Young they called the penalty on, but I don't know if it was 7.
Guy.
Yeah, it was definitely 7. Prince, who was in coverage on Key. This Ole Miss defense has done a really nice job against the Kentucky passing game. Coming into the game, Kentucky averaging almost 300 yards a game passing, only 112 so far for Will Levis and the Wildcat offense.
Rodriguez upended. That was Hasheem Young, the transfer from Iowa State, where he was a very important part of some excellent defenses under Matt Campbell. Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year in 2020.
Yeah, and interesting because Chris Partridge was saying their defensive staff, one of the places they went to study and look about making some changes with the Ole Miss defense was Iowa State, and going to a little bit more of a 3-man front, kind of a drop 8 defense.
Hasheem Young's from Philadelphia. Chris Partridge recruits that part of the country, very familiar with the talent up in that area. We mentioned earlier he's a New Jersey native. A great recruiter. A blitz and a good call against it, a screen. Rodriguez Cuts across midfield and has a Kentucky first down at the 45-yard line of Ole Miss. Austin Keys made the tackle. Excellent call, and 17 yards on the play.
Some of the best pass plays for Kentucky today have been screens. They had the long one to the receiver, Barrion Brown, and a couple nice ones with Rodriguez. Scangarella trying to dial up the right combination here. He's got his back. This is the best they've run the football by far. 124 yards.
Tom McLean run down. Rodriguez looked gassed after that last play. You know, we talked to him the other day about his fitness. Do you think you're ready to go back in and take a heavy load? And he said, oh yeah, absolutely. But there's a big difference between riding the bike and practicing and being out here in game conditions.
Not just game conditions and game adrenaline, but getting hit, getting tackled, getting thrown to the ground, and then getting back up and play after play. You know, because they're not tackling him in practice, right? He's running plays. He's not getting tackled, but he is today.
And unavailable to them on this play with 6.5 to go. They were down 14-0. They're down 19-6. Levis, short throw, caught. Brendan Bates, the tight end. They'll bring up third down and about 5.5.
Kentucky 5 for 11 so far today on third down. Been right up around 50% conversion coming into the ball game.
Perhaps 4 down territory. Definitely not a field goal from here. With the problems and going into a pretty good win now. Levis, that's a pro throw.
Oh boy.
Right on target with plenty on it for a first down to the 27-yard line to Jordan Dingle.
Well, watch the right tackle get turned around. Levis did a nice job hanging in there knowing he was going to get hit. Stayed in there, stepped into the throw, and delivered a perfect ball for the first down.
Took the hit from Cedric Johnson. The big, strong, tough guy, Will Levis. So is Cedric Johnson. 5 minutes to go. Boy, the clock moves quickly when they have the ball. Movement along the line. J.J. Pegues came across.
62 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And he was drawn across by the left guard, Jagger Burton, another first-year starter. Redshirt freshman right there in Lexington. First meeting ever between NC State and Clemson when both are ranked in the top 10. The game of the year in the ACC. 7:30 tonight, college football primetime on ABC, presented by Capital One. It's the first time NC State will ever have played in a game where both teams are in the top 10.
Wow.
They've never finished in the top 10 in a season. Perhaps a chance to do that this year.
Clemson in a great game last week in the ACC.
Yeah, at Wake Forest. Overtime win. Chris Rodriguez on 1st and 15. Driven back to the 33-yard line.
We talked about there weren't many penalties. 3 now for both teams, but that last one for Kentucky, very costly because they're moving the ball, they're moving the clock, and they get the 5-yard penalty, which puts them behind the sticks. Now it's even further behind on 2nd and long, and Will Levis has got to be thinking just part of the yardage back here. If they make a mistake and they give you a home run, then take it. Otherwise, try to get half of this yardage back to give yourself a chance on 3rd down. Dropping 8.
And Levis given a pocket. He's on target, short of the first down, but within 2 yards. Dane Key, another catch.
Well, nice job. He read the coverage. They were dropping 8 into zone, so you just kind of find a window, and Dane Key gets right in between the 2 linebackers and settles down, and Levis hits him with the football. Sean, the other thing about this pace that Kentucky plays with, right now it's making Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss a little nervous because the longer they don't have the football, the less opportunities they're going to have offensively with time if Kentucky scores here to either tie it or take the lead.
Kentucky will take its time. Levis, the keeper. Well, he lost the football on the contact. And Ole Miss has it. A.J. Finley came up with the football.
Yeah, it was Austin Keys, number 11, who knocked it out. Levis was trying to fight for yardage. There's the first hit. Here comes number 11, Keys, and knocks the ball out. Clearly a fumble.
Hard for any runner, including Levis, to prepare yourself for that kind of hit in midair.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon. Get the most out of your drive.
Well, Ole Miss has the football, but maybe they shouldn't. As we look at this play again, when Will Levis ran, this should have been a targeting call. Crown of the helmet right on that K on the UK helmet of Will Levis. The next hit caused the fumble, but that hit should have been a targeting, right, Matt?
Been looked at by the replay official, so I do. I think he lowered his head, and as Todd said, he put the front of the helmet right on the UK logo, so should have been looked at.
He's not defenseless because he's running, but it was a crown of the helmet that led to contact, and Ole Miss was fortunate they got the football.
Jackson Dart carried for a loss and a timeout called by Kentucky. There's another look. Still a 3-point game. This is the SEC on ESPN. Two undefeated teams, each 4-0 in the final 2:50 of play. Ole Miss protecting a 3-point lead. Kentucky down to one timeout. Here's Jordan Watkins back near the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Zion Childress made the tackle up from the secondary, and Mark Stoops uses his last timeout.
Now remember, the last time Kentucky had the ball, the play clock ran down. They had to use a timeout to avoid the penalty. Probably wish they had that one right now.
Huge 3rd down and 11 upcoming for Ole Miss. Will Levis hoping he gets the ball back. Join us for Monday Night Football. The Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. And Peyton and Eli back on ESPN2. That's 8 o'clock Monday night. Big play here. What will Lane Kiffin do? The 3-point lead, 3rd down and 11. And no timeouts for Kentucky. Not going to risk the incomplete pass and the stoppage of the clock. Quinshon Judkins, Jackson Dart jumping up and down. I think he maybe thought there was a face mask or something there.
The play was well defended by Kentucky, expecting run.
He was jumping up and down as if he thought there was a face mask on this tackle.
Well, you see the head turn.
Deion Walker.
Yep. Ole Miss will let this clock go all the way down. Under 2 minutes. Try
they
to
could
kick
use
it
a
at the last
timeout
minute.
at 0 if they want.
Yep.
They're hurrying to line up. Fraser Mazin's been terrific. They won't use the timeout. He has the wind at his back. And they're going to try the return. Tavion Robinson swarmed under immediately at the 34-yard line by Miles Battle. Here's today's college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Alabama getting started a little bit later, and Georgia tonight at Missouri. I was surprised Alabama's 17-point favorite.
Yeah.
In that game, Michigan leading at Iowa. The big one on ABC tonight, Clemson and NC State. And a rematch of the Big 12 title game.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State in Waco to take on Baylor.
Well, as Kentucky gets ready to take the field, an injured player for Ole Miss on that punt return play. If you're Will Levis, I mean, this is, you want to prove to the NFL guys that you should be the top 1, 2, or 3 guys. This is your opportunity. It hasn't been your best game. The Florida game was not your best game, but you found a way to lead your team to victory. Here was one of his best plays. Take a look. Got the protection, hit Dingle across the middle, but right now you've got 1:49. You've got no timeouts, and you don't need a touchdown. You just need a field goal.
And that's what I was just going to lead into. At some point,
trying to
even
get
though
overtime.
they've avoided trying to kick the ball since the problems earlier in the game, a missed field goal, a blocked extra point, and a problem on a snap. They get down near the 20-yard line. They're out of time. They need to try the field goal. Ruffalo is a veteran who had kicked very well prior to today, and some of it wasn't his fault today. Levis airing it out deep and off the hands of Barrion Brown. That's true freshman against true freshman with Davison Igbinosun in coverage.
Well, Brown had a step. The ball's thrown over the outside shoulder just a tad too far and not able to bring it in. Had two fingertips on it, or both fingertips, sets of fingertips, just couldn't bring it in.
Second and 10. Minute 42 to go. No timeouts. Kentucky down by 3 from its own 34. Open man in the flat. Rodriguez did not get the first down. 3rd down and 2 to come.
And Jeremy Flax is slow getting up at the end of that play. The right tackle looks like he's cramping. He's grabbing his left hamstring.
And the crowd doesn't like it. They think this might be acting to get a stoppage of the clock.
Ole Miss went drop 8 on that play. Rush 3, dropped 8.
Well, yeah, that's not acting.
No, he's got a cramp. I mean, his hamstring is completely cramped up.
It's 77 degrees here, moderate humidity, but it's a long afternoon, especially when you're that big. 6'6", 328. Well, we've referenced it a few times early in the game. Ruffalo, makeable field goal, just missed. Then they had a extra point blocked. Then they had a problem on a hold by Chance Poor. So lately, Mark Stoops has been foregoing kicks, but it might be a case where they have to try one. They need to get in position first. 2 problems on the PATs. Flax limps off. Replaced by David Wolabaugh, redshirt freshman. Son of a terrific offensive lineman. His dad, Dave, played at Syracuse, played in the NFL. Quick pop. Barrion Brown.
Look out.
Stays on his feet. He can fly. They have an angle. Brown inside the 10. Aisheem Young and DeAndre Prince managed to catch him. But it's 1st and goal for Kentucky.
The 2 most explosive pass plays for the Wildcats today have been this play. Wide receiver screen to Barrion Brown. He's not very big, but he can break some tackles.
He is a star on 1st and goal. They loft it up.
Oh, that's...
And it is. There's a flag down. They stopped the play. It was caught by Dane Key, but the official on the near sideline, the line judge, has a false start.
I don't know if they were set. Kentucky was trying to go fast, which they don't do, and I don't think Kentucky was set.
Motion on the offense. The slot receiver was not set. It was miscorrection, was moving forward at the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
I think Mark Stoops is telling Will Levis right now, let everybody get set. Here's the moving receiver. They're trying to snap it quick. They like the one-on-one, but they weren't set in formation. And again, this is a team that does not play fast unless they have to in a 2-minute. But they didn't have to go fast that fast in that particular situation.
So it's 1st and goal from the 12, under a minute to go and no timeouts. They have plenty of time. 50-yard pass play to Brown got them down here. Levis. Batted out of the air. score! It's a free ball! Jared Ivey knocked it out for Ole Miss. And Tavius Robinson has recovered.
Remember, it's a new right tackle. It's Dave Willibaugh. He's going to get beat on this play by probably the best pass rusher. They tried to help by chipping the tight end. It didn't help the tackle. He knocks the ball out, and Ole Miss creates another turnover. Now, my dad's an old offensive line coach. He doesn't like when people say that chip helps, because sometimes it makes it tougher for the tackle.
Chris Partridge, first-year defensive coordinator. What a reaction.
Yep.
Guy who was out of coaching, played at Lafayette College, started coaching at Lafayette, and then his mom, Bonnie, ran a very successful business in executive recruiting in the New York City area. She couldn't run the business anymore due to illness. He stepped out of coaching for 3 years, was very successful.
Yep.
Wondered if he ever coached again. His mom got healthier. He got the bug to go back into coaching. Took over his high school program at Passaic, New Jersey. Wound up with Jim Harbaugh at Michigan as a recruiting assistant. And now he is one of the hottest assistants in the country. That's his dad, Rick Partridge, who punted in the NFL. His dad's into it. He has that defense sign that he holds up. That's part of the gear he's walking away with.
You know, Sean, what a great defensive performance all day and a great stand there. But remember the play before. If Will Levis waits another second for them to be set, it's a touchdown. Dane Key caught the ball in the end zone. It's a leading touchdown that got wiped off the board because of the penalty.
A lot of what ifs. I'm sure in Lexington they'll be talking about the hit that Levis took when he fumbled on the previous possession, what certainly looked like targeting. They don't care about that here in Oxford. The Lane train continues along.
And this is a much more physical Ole Miss football team on both sides of the ball than Lane Kiffin has had in his time here.
13 straight wins in Oxford. They go to 5-0. Here's Molly McGrath.
Coach, you pride yourself in the defensive resurgence of this program. What was it like watching your defense at the end there win you this game?
It was really cool to come to 2 stops like that and get the ball back. Awesome to see.
What did they do well against quarterback Will Levis today?
Well, they rushed him. You know, they were motivated all week by their offensive coordinator saying, bring the blitz and we'll light you up. So there you go.
You just beat a top 10 Kentucky team. What did you learn about this group today?
We got to get a lot better. You know, we could have finished the game earlier, you know, screwed around and didn't play well enough on offense in the second half. So we have a lot of work to do with a lot of really good teams coming to play. So we kind of got out of here with this one, which was good. It was good to have some people in the stands. And really 5-0? All right.
That sounds pretty good. You called out your fans this week. They showed up. They listened to you, Coach.
They did. Better than our 4-minute offense. So glad they were here.
Thank you, Coach. Congrats. Sean.
Are we ever going to talk to a happy coach again after victory?
Let's talk to Chris Partridge.
Yeah, he's happy. Ivey, the big play that got the ball back. This was a play they'll be talking about for a long time. You know, this is called targeting. Kentucky keeps the ball. One of their best players, Finley, is out of the game, but they got it back with another chance. And that might have been a game-winning touchdown had it not been for the penalty that wiped it out. Jared Ivey got a hand in the transfer from Georgia Tech. Boy, they did well in the portal.
They did.
Chris Partridge. And Charlie Weiss.
They want to wear a T-shirt next week, though.
What a story he is. You'll be hearing a lot more about Chris Partridge down the road. Final score, Ole Miss 22, Kentucky 19. Let's send you back to the studio.
Thanks thanks you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.